Guys and girls, what is going on? Good to see you guys again. Hope your night's going good. Hope your night's going awesome, guys. We need to talk some Nintendo news. Massive news that dropped yesterday, right? Yesterday evening. Nintendo deciding to shut down their eShop starting March of next year. My God, my shirt is wrinkled. I grabbed my Nintendo 64 shirt from the closet and I didn't even realize how wrinkled it is. Man, let me just yeah, guys, I hope your night's going good. Thank you for spending a little bit of your evening with me. Appreciate you guys so much. Jess, fellow moderator, is in the house. Thank you guys so much for the likes, lighting up the likes. Appreciate y'all. But this really could mean a big news, not only for Nintendo fans. I mean, obviously this is huge news for Nintendo fans, guys. But this very well could be a sign of the times, and I think it is. When it comes to PlayStation and also Xbox, you know, we need to talk, have a conversation about this, you guys. I would love to hear your opinion about it, where the future of digital games is headed. And we're also going to talk about the possibility and how soon we could see the Xbox online store, especially for the 360. It was being rumored a couple of years ago, and I think it's getting closer. We could very well hear soon about the Xbox 360 storefront possibly going offline, where you can't make purchases through there anymore. We'll talk about that in a little bit, and also PlayStation as well. And there's a little bit of more in-depth conversation we need to get into when it comes to PlayStation, because I honestly personally don't think Sony has given a lot of attention to backwards compatibility, whereas Xbox has. So we'll get into all that in a little bit, and we'll go through the official news that Nintendo announced yesterday. And of course, I gotta say what's up to you beautiful people in the chat here. What's going on? Walter Samples says I registered for the PlayStation Directs. Let's go, man. Marky Mark with the turtle emoji. How's the stream looking for you guys? I put up a poll here. How many of you guys were surprised by Nintendo's announcement, seemingly coming out of the blue last night? It surprised me. We hadn't even heard talks about it, especially just recently with what happened with you know, the last time Nintendo did this was when they closed up their Wii shop, and until now you can still download games that you bought through the Wii Virtual Console. You can still re-download them. You can no longer purchase games from said storefront. But let me make sure. I'm just gonna check really quick if the stream's looking good for you guys. Hey, Chris Gormley, thanks for letting me know stream's looking good. Marky Mark, stream looks good. Para just says stream looks good. All right, awesome sauce. I came across a very interesting statement when it comes to that. You know, this is an argument I heard a lot of people stating on Twitter, that you're gonna still be able to re-download titles on your Wii U and 3DS, because the 3DS and Wii U shops are closing officially towards the end of March of next year. So they're giving us like a pretty fair warning. But an interesting statement when it came to when they asked about Wii's Virtual Console. You can still re-download the games, but for how much longer? If we look at Nintendo's official website here, came across something interesting. Let me show you guys really quick here. The Wii Shop channel, which has been available on Wii systems since December 2006, closed on January 30th of 2019. We sincerely thank our loyal customers for their support. It is no longer possible to purchase new content. However, for the time being, you may continue to re-download content you have purchased or transfer that content from a Wii system to a Wii U system. However, and this is the big sentence here at the end, be aware that these features will eventually end at a future date. So after March of 2023, you'll still be able to re-download your digital games that you purchased on the 3DS or Wii U, but eventually the features will end. It's not a permanent thing, you guys. And it goes back, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about all this. If you disagree, it's all cool too, and like your opinion will always be welcome here. But this is undeniable evidence, I do believe, of something you guys already know what I feel about, is that this is the inevitable future that we're all going to encounter at some point in time, is where it's gonna go all digital, and we're not gonna eventually have a choice between buying a physical game and a digital game. From all the streams during all the streams I've done with you guys, and when we had those nights, those after parties where we talked about video games and where the industry is going, we had Killer Cam 1020 up in the house at one point, and we had a really in-depth discussion about the future of digital games. It's a convenient thing, especially in the year of 2020 when we're all stuck at home, quarantined, right? It was a lot easier to just download a game and be done with it, not having to go to the store. A lot of convenience, a lot of convenient factors to take into consideration when it comes to buying a digital game or the physical game. But in the long run, you guys, if you disagree, you can let me know. I do not believe we even own these digital games. We're paying full price, the same price as we would pay for a physical game. We don't own these digital games, you guys, and the proof is right here, and it's incoming faster than we realize. When the features of being able to re-download your digital purchases inevitably ceases to exist, we no longer own these digital games. We might as well be renting these games, you guys. We might as well, when we buy a digital game, we might as well just agree and come to the terms with the fact that we don't own them. We're simply renting them, is what it feels like. There's that case, of course, where you can't lend someone a digital game without giving up your whole sign-in information. You can't trade games with a friend. You can't resell these games on places like GameStop. There's no room for any kind of reselling the game. They're not ours, guys. This is what I feel. The digital games are not ours. They're very convenient, but when it's all said and done, when stuff like this starts happening, when we will eventually no longer have access to our re-downloadable digital games, that's gonna suck. And I have reason to believe Xbox and PlayStation aren't too far behind. In fact, let's take a look at some information I came across about talks that Xbox had been having in the past about eventually closing up their Xbox 360 storefront. First, I need to say what's up to you guys. Tori, what's going on? Tori and Jay Gonzalez. Hope your night's going good, man. T Plays, what's going? Aw, T Plays says rip my 3DS, man. There's a huge another aftermath that happened after this announcement, and we'll take a look at that aftermath in a little bit. And of course, we're talking about how the prices of physical games are starting to creep up on eBay, places like eBay and Amazon. Happy hump day, Jay Gonzalez. It's going good, bro. How's your night going? Chris Gormley, would it be a bad idea to figure out how to buy and sell used digital games? Could that be a thing? That is a really good question. I think it could be a possibility, but with what we're seeing so far, where like these digital games feel like they're just temporary ownerships, I don't know if the companies, you know, for them, it behooves these companies to sell digital games, and they don't have to be wasting money with people. Like right now, companies like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, I don't think they like GameStop, because the person who goes to GameStop to buy a used game, that's another sale that they lost, that they could have, that's another customer that they could have sold a new game to. So they don't, like, these bigger companies don't see any profits from these sales, you know. So I don't, if it's in their, if it's up to Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft to create a system where they could sell a digital game, I don't even think they would give it any attention. But that's just my opinion. Thank you guys for the 11 likes, much appreciated. Nonchalant is in the house, fellow moderator. What's going on, my friend? Nonchalant says physical disc have digital keys, so it's all digital. See, so it's all digital in a sense now, in my opinion. Nintendo won't let you re-download, but PlayStation, Microsoft probably will. Nintendo's will let you re-download these games even after March of next year. It's basically what they've been doing with the Wii. You can still re-download the games. So that feature is still going to be available, but looking back at this statement that they made when they closed down the Wii shop channel, the sentence that gets me is at the very end when they say, be aware that these features will eventually end at a future date. That's where it's like we'll still be able to do it, but for how much longer, you know? Been working on my physical collection for a minute. Super into preservation these days. That's a really good point too. A lot of game preservationalists, right, didn't like the fact that this is about to happen. Kathy says, I literally just bought $71 game. A $71 game. Which game was that one, Kathy? Xbox. Play says Xbox and PlayStation love digital downloads. There is no middleman. Yeah, that's another thing they love about it too, is that they don't have to give any profits to a retailer. They can sell it directly to the consumer. Chris Gormley agrees with Nonchalant. I got about 80 Xbox One games. That's just the tip of the iceberg as far as my collection goes. I know there are bigger collections than mine. Kathy says, so what does that mean for the online membership? So that's a good question. Nintendo introducing the online membership. They started they started making their first party games available through their online service, right? The classic games. And now there's actually a lot of classic games like Super Mario Brothers that you won't be able to play anywhere else because of this announcement, or after March of next year, right? So I do believe that, well, you can play these games still through their online membership. So you'll have to be a member of Nintendo's online service to continue, if you have not already downloaded these games, right? And I know for sure there's going to be a lot of Nintendo fans right now that are scrambling to buy online games for their 3DS and Wii U, and I don't blame them. I'm actually gonna look at some for myself too. There's no other way for me to play Wario Land 4 unless I bust out my old Game Boy Advance. But that's gonna be one game that I buy so that I can have on my 3DS, or I could just play it on my Game Boy Advance, right? that's an option also. But speaking of this aftermath that is happening as we speak, if we take a look at eBay, you guys, check out some of these games that have already jumped up in price. So we got games right now that last week were a lot less than this. Brand new Copy of Kirby Planet Robobot going for $39.50. I believe this was 1999. A couple of weeks ago. The Shin Megami Tensei games, $49.99. Luigi's Mansion, $40. Is this sealed? I wonder if this is sealed. Let me. Yeah, brand new. That's a sealed one. 605 sold so far. I wonder when they actually sold these. A pre-owned Super Mario 3D Land is $14.99. I believe this is the same price as the game brand new. Pokemon Moon. Hey, this is actually a good price, $15. Well, this is an open copy of Pokemon Moon. But I might as well ask you guys. What other games or which games you think are gonna jump up in value, especially after last night's announcement. I know for sure Samus Returns, I think, would be a good investment. Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and the Omega game, that's gonna jump in value. GameStop already selling it for $50 used. Triforce Heroes, which was already a really hard to find game before the announcement. Definitely like the Mario. The thing is, you guys, like the first party games, those are more likely to come to the online service eventually. It's the third party games, I think, that are gonna jump a lot in value. The third party games, because down the line, you know, Nintendo's not gonna spend the extra money to get, like, say, games like Capcom or publishers like Capcom or even Sega. They're not. I don't think they're gonna pony up the money to get those games released on their online service. But we'll more than likely see the first party games being available through their Nintendo online service. But what do you guys think? Waffle56, what's going on, my friend? Says Twilight Princess HD and Paper Mario Color Splash are going up. Same with Game & Wario. Yeah, that's true. They are, man. Paper Mario Color Splash, I believe, will never be on the Switch, just because of the way it utilizes the touchpad on the Wii U. So that game is gonna go up there in value. Hey, Jesse Harrison, what's going on, man? Acquisitions galore. Play says, should I keep my Oculus or should I return it and get a Switch OLED? Oh, the Oculus is a pretty fun system, man. Why did you... I mean, if you have a regular Switch, you should be good with the regular Switch. Nonchalant says, every Zelda game on 3DS. Chris Gormley says, I get that. Sometimes I get into buying frenzies when good deals come up. I always say, just this one. Before I know it, $150 gone. Alejandro Bautista. Can't wait for Horizon Forbidden West. That's coming out this Friday. I'm pretty excited too, man. Oh, Plays, you don't have a Switch. You don't have a Switch. It's a really nice system, man. It depends on how much you play your Oculus. Like, my room is really small, so I don't think I could really have fun with an Oculus. Or how much room do you guys need for the Oculus? Like, you know, like I can only I can't really run in my room around too much. I have a very small radius. And I think if I get the Oculus, it's probably better if I get like a larger space, right? Like if I have a larger like space in my room. All right, you guys. So going back to, how soon can this affect Xbox? Because I have reason to believe, you guys, that this is going to be an issue pretty soon for Xbox owners. Nothing has been confirmed, of course. And the Xbox has been really, really supportive of making games backwards compatible, especially their original Xbox games, but a lot of work goes into making these games backwards compatible, and they're simply not going to be able to make every single game that way, And there's a lot of games right now on the 360 that are only available through the 360's online storefront that you cannot play on an Xbox One. I have my 360 still around for that very fact. A lot of also Xbox arcade games. And the reason I believe this is going to happen sooner rather than later, you guys, is that the fact is it takes money to keep these online storefronts running, and as the future comes in fast, right, with Xbox Series X, they're going pretty hard on Game Pass, which is all based on online games, right? It's an online service. I think they're gonna eventually take away money from having those online stores available, and that could be an announcement. I mean, we've been seeing actually a lot of online 360 games getting delisted. When the Grand Theft Auto collection came out, you could no longer buy San Andreas on an Xbox 360 storefront. So it's like this has been happening for years already, where a lot of online games get delisted, and I think it's only a matter of time before they eventually do close down the 360 online store, where when you turn on the 360, you won't even be able to open up Xbox Live. But that's where Xbox is handling this backwards compatibility issue a lot differently than PlayStation. So when we look at PlayStation, the last storefront that they closed down was the PS Vita PlayStation store. Ended up closing up their online stores for PlayStation 3 and PSP, and also the Vita. This happened between the months of July 2nd of last year and August 27th of last year. So you turn on a PS3 or a PSP or a Vita, you can't go online anymore and buy these games. And those games, you guys remember when the Vita shut down their online stores, like how much this increased the price of used Vita games? It was pretty nuts. I don't know if that's actually kind of simmered down now, or if the prices have gone back down. Thank you guys so much for being here. I need to say a huge thank you to Planet Awkward for being the latest subscriber to the channel. Much appreciated, you guys. Much appreciated for the support. We're gonna be back this Friday with Xbox Friday, and then Saturday with Stock Tracker. He's gonna join us live again. So fun times are to be had for sure. Let me see what you guys are saying. Looking at the poll, 16 people voted. 25% yes, they were surprised. 50% said no. 12% say I don't care. 12% says I like turtles. Killer Cam 1020 is in the house. What's going on, bro? What's going on, bro? Yo, 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 yo. Yes, PlayStation, Sony definitely reversed course. When the PS5 was announced, there was a lot of questions up in the air about if they would even support PS4 games, and eventually getting closer to the release date, we finally found out, right, that they did. and they saw how hard Xbox was going with supporting backwards compatibility. And now that we're seeing stuff like this, you guys, I think it's more important now more than ever that the future consoles should allow us. And this is where it's gonna get I have a very confusing question for you guys, and a little bit of a convoluted question. Do you think we're ever gonna see an all digital only console from Microsoft and PlayStation? Do you think the next generation of consoles will be digital only? Killer Cam 1020 says, dog, I spent so much money on 3DS games because literally May of this year is the end. This is the end, my only friend, the end. This is the end, my only friend, the end. Are you talking about from the shortage? Or is the eShop's closing March of next year? Unless you're mentioning something else. Not next gen, but the gen after after next, yes. The gen after. So not the PS6, but the PS7, right? So this is where I'm a little bit concerned, you guys. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned because I have a plethora of physical games in my possession when it comes to the Wii, the 360, the Xbox One, PS5, digital, I mean physical everything. Now I'm hoping once these consoles eventually go all digital, that's gonna be a little bit nutty, because what the hell am I gonna do with all these physical games that I have right now? I could just keep my old system, right? But if you're like me, I wish I could collect every PlayStation generation. I wish I could have said that I didn't have to sell my PS4 to get my PS5, but I'm not a rich man and I'm not a wealthy man. So, but if it comes to that, of course I'm gonna be forced to keep my, if what Killer Cam is guesstimating becomes true, I'm gonna have to keep my PS5. I'm gonna have to keep my PS6 while I pony up that money for the PS7, right? yeah, for sure, Killer Cam. Let's go, man. Let's bring you on. We're gonna hear from Killer Cam 1020. We're gonna open up the Discord, my friend. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Wrapping up really quick the PlayStation conversation. I don't have much confidence in Sony when it comes to them. I'm gonna have to buy every PlayStation. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not very confident that Sony is gonna provide me a way to play my older games going forward. I think, like what Killer Cam said, they backtracked on it, and I think thinking in the future, I don't have much hopes that they'll really go hard on backwards compatibility, but we shall see. You know, opinions can always change as more news comes out. But give me a second while I open up the Discord so we can bring Killer Cam 1020 with us, as we have an impromptu special guest, Killer Cam 1020. Really good friend of mine. Killer Cam, dude, what is going on, man? How's your night going?
I'm doing good. Just like thinking a lot about that 3DS shop and Wii U shop, but mostly 3DS shop, because that's what I mostly care about, frankly.
Oh, more so for the 3DS shop, dude. Breaking news, you guys! Holy crap! Apparently, these changes are incoming a lot faster than we realized. Nintendo starting May 23rd of this year, you will no longer be able to use a credit card to add funds to a Nintendo eShop account on Wii U or the 3DS. And starting August 29th of this year, Nintendo will stop allowing eShop gift cards as a way of adding funds to these accounts. Holy crap, dude. What is going on?
So basically, the eShop is closing a lot sooner than they want us to think. And they want us to think that they gave us plenty of time. Not really.
Yeah.
It's an illusion. It's literally an illusion.
This is crazy, man. I mean, yeah, so when they said March of next year, what the hell did they mean by that then? Because on their website they're saying, let me see.
I guess if you have credits, you won't be able to buy anything
after
next year.
So
but if you have existing, like let's say for instance, you loaded like $1,000 on right now, you would be able to spend that until March of next year, and then that's it.
Oh yeah,
and they won't even do transactions anymore.
So that's incoming May, where you won't be able to buy games with a credit card, and in August you won't even be able to use eShop or eShop cards anymore.
Yeah,
or
so that's like
add
fun. Yeah,
you won't be able to use a Nintendo eShop card to add funds. So guys, you're gonna have to add funds to your account using the eShop card. If you have one, like let's say you got one for Christmas, you have to add those funds before August 29th of this year. And then starting May 23rd, you won't be able to add funds at all. And then like what Killer Camp just said, March of next year will be the end of March of next year will be the last opportunity to use any money left in your Nintendo account. This is pretty crazy, man. It's happening a lot faster than I realized. Holy crap.
Yeah, and who knows if like those I don't know. Does the 3DS eShop use different gift cards than the Switch? I don't remember. I feel like they just kind of reprinted those as like Switch gift cards, and then you could use them backwards as well.
Yeah, if you have your Nintendo ID, like the same one linked from your Wii U and 3DS, you can use the funds from a Switch eShop card.
But, okay, so you could maybe if you add funds to your Switch after August, you could use them in the shop still.
Right,
in the eShop on the 3DS.
Yeah,
so that could be a workaround.
Yeah, it could be. It's a workaround. But starting March of next year, you won't be able to use those funds at all. So they're getting rid of that that link that you were able to make with your Switch if you linked your Nintendo ID with it.
But dude, Matt, I wanted to talk to you about like, this is what I really want to come on here to talk about is like, what do you think will be the most realistic games that they will port to the Switch? Like the games that we haven't seen the last of on 3DS. Thinking positively, not negatively now.
Oh, which games we could see ported to the Switch?
Yeah, like what's most likely in your mind? What do you think is probably going to be like the first game we'll see when we go, oh, they're putting games to the 3DS to the Switch now? Okay.
Well,
yeah. What do you think will be that game?
Well, it's definitely the games that they started making in 3DS's later in its life, because like they kind of stopped supporting the touchscreen for a lot of those games. But they're gonna definitely, I think, go with their major franchises, like Mario and Zelda. But man, it's
probably not Persona, probably not Shin Megami.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I don't think they'll shell out the money to those third parties, Those are the games I
Well,
think are gonna become like highly collectible, like the Shin Megami games.
Unless if we could see Persona Q come back and maybe a third game comes out for the Switch, because Persona, everything but mainline Persona games comes to Switch.
Oh yeah,
Everything but the mainline games.
right, right.
For some reason. So I was thinking if like maybe a Persona Q3 comes out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man.
And they could port the other ones over.
And then the thing is too is like, because I'm trying to think, like Kirby Planet
Robobot
yeah, was a hell of a fun game, but it took advantage of the 3D effects.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be difficult to translate.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. And a lot of those games were remakes, or some of those games, like the Mario and Luigi games, were remakes of the ones from the DS, right?
Yeah, and we probably won't see those for a long time then, because they'll probably have they'll probably have DS games on Switch before 3DS games, just because I feel like those games are just easier to port.
Nonchalant says it's whenever Nintendo wills to existence. Anyone's guess on what will port is equally valid, but speculative at best. Yeah, we can definitely, but it's good to talk about it.
I think Luigi's Mansion, the remake, and probably Dark Moon will probably come to Switch in like a collection or something for like a Halloween thing, just because up-res everything, add some anti-aliasing, and then there you go, port it over to Switch.
Yeah, I can see that, because they didn't really utilize the second screen much, or the touch, or the 3D. 3D really took a back seat, especially within the last like 3-4 years. They kind of gave up on the 3D part of it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because like when they did the new refreshes, like the new models, they really like perfected the 3D without motion sickness or headache.
Oh yeah, the new 3DS. Yeah,
they had eye tracking.
Yeah, they did. Johnny Topside says, so what about Pokebank? Oh my god. Oh man, our Pokemon.
So you're gonna have to just transfer everything to Pokemon Home, but Pokemon Home costs money.
Oh yeah,
rent, so
yeah. Pokebank was the free version, and Pokemon Home was the one you had to pay extra for. Oh boy.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to transfer the Home. It's your only option, really.
For the love of all that's holy, I'm starting to really think. I'm gonna grab my 3DS really quick and look at the games. Let's what about in terms? Let me ask you this before I run and get my 3DS really quick, and let me ask Killer Cam and also chat. What are the games you think are gonna be the most collectible that people are scrambling for right now to get the physical versions of?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is probably Kid Icarus, just because it's the only modern adaptation of the whole series.
Yes, and that one definitely will never see the light of day on Switch, because it uses the touchscreen. Nope. The 100% of the game is touchscreen. That's how you point and aim. That's hell yeah, dude. That was
the first game that I went out to get as soon as I heard the shop was going down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
First game.
That's like says Killer Cam and Nice Guy because of the giveaways. Did you do your giveaway, Killer Cam?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the person to respond. I'm thinking about I'm messaging the person he tagged just to make sure like they're active. Oh yeah. I don't know why I don't know why I keep getting people who are never there when on the deadline when I do these giveaways. And like that's why I stopped giving like specific times so like they had to respond by, because like I feel terrible that I keep going through all these damn people who get messages after the fact of like people were saying congratulations and then they didn't win anything. So it's like a very complicated situation.
I hear you, man. I hear you. We still haven't raised enough for our next giveaway here, but we definitely had a good jump start thanks to Marky Mark. Super chatting 25 bucks a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, Marky Mark. But here's my 3DS, guys. I got the Legend
towards the next giveaway.
Thanks, Marky Mark. This is my Legend of Zelda 3DS. I love it so much. I like it a lot. This was the GameStop exclusive. Fun fact about this 3DS, I did a video about it, is that it's the only 3DS you can get that has 2 IPS screens, which is the better choice if you like clarity. So yeah, if you'd like to, if you know what an IPS screen is and you'd like the brighter colors of an IPS, you can get 2 IPS screens with this 3DS that I'm holding here in my hands. But I'm looking.
If you won the screen lottery.
There you go. Exactly, the screen lottery. Oh my god, dude, I was so OCD about my 3DS back in the day. I was OCD about my Game Boy Advance, dude. Those scan lines used to freaking annoy me. But then
let me tell you about my 3DS story.
Oh yeah, let's hear it, man.
So, I fell out of love with gaming for a few years in middle school. Guys, I'm pretty young still. I'm 24, so middle school is like right when the 3DS came out. I'm pretty sure.
Oh crap, Killer Cat!
I wasn't there.
Killer Cat, I'm gonna.
Peak.
I'm sorry, man.
Just to help out my man.
I'm gonna interrupt you really quick because Chris Gormley super chatted $15. Says just to help out my man. Man, Chris Gormley, thank you so much, dude. Love you, man. Love you. I'm sorry to interrupt, dude. So you fell out of love.
Good.
You fell out of love with gaming, and you're a young guy, dude. 24.
Because, like, you want to know? Yeah. So you want to know why? Like, it's mostly because like burnout on Call of Duty when I was younger, because that's all what people would talk about in my school was just Call of Duty. So I didn't really think of like gaming outside of Call of Duty at that point in my life. So I was just like, I'm kind of sick of this.
Yeah.
I didn't fall back in love until like the end of the PS3 life cycle, really. But I had a PS3, so I bought a bunch of PS3 games I missed out on. But that's not really part of the story. But I basically bought a secondhand 3DS with my buddy Alex. We both got them so we could play Smash Brothers on 3DS. We didn't have a Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first got that thing, I was like, the screen is giving me a headache. So I ended up selling it after a year, going with the 2DS XL. That thing was nice. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time when I had my 3DS, I was just playing Super Smash Brothers and Zelda Ocarina of Time, Pokemon titles. I didn't really get into the in-depth backlog of what the 3DS really has, which is actually insane.
It is,
There's
man.
so many good titles on 3DS that will never be ported or anything, like, because the mechanics of the 3DS are vital for the experience. So like, there's only going to be one way in the future we ever see the 3DS really come back, and that's if Nintendo does a classic console, which I doubt we ever see a classic console again. And the other thing is this is a funny theory that I came up with, is that they would maybe, if it's a really affordable, they could, for the future Switch, they could have a pop-off screen on the top, like a latch-on screen that connects through like maybe clips that would have like the 3DS capability on it. But you know what? Nintendo knows that that's not going to be good enough for marketing. They don't care about preservation of their games unless we're paying for subscription service. They've shown us that their hand. That's the sad future.
Yeah, man.
That's literally what they care about.
Yeah, and that's more evident now more than ever. You know, if they're taking away our ability to obtain these games other in very through other means other than buying them through the 3DS or Wii U shop. But
Yeah,
it's crazy,
Matt, the
man.
other thing is though,
Mhm.
the other thing is though, like let's say for instance, I became a Fire Emblem fan later in my life, right? Like long after the days of the 3DS. And I wanted to go back and play some of the games that I haven't played yet in the series, like Fire Emblem Awakening, right? What if I wanted to go play Fire Emblem Awakening? I can't play it unless I emulate it
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
can't get that on Switch. You can't port that to Switch. You know, they're not going to add to a subscription service. So when people say you've had all these years to get this game, that's not really the issue. The issue is if someone like me falls in love with the game series years later and wants to go back and play some of these games, then there's no way to do it except illegally. But Nintendo's giving people no better option.
This is where I have to give a lot of props to collectors out there because they're always gonna have access to their older systems and they can always try to get like games used if they already don't own them in their collection. But this is where I regret the times that I sold my older consoles to buy new ones because I didn't have the cash to do it, you know. But I think there's a lot of people like me out there that either we don't have the space to be collecting all these older consoles, we don't have the monetary funds to do it. If I had the choice, I totally would have kept my PS4. I would have kept my PS3. I still have my PS2 though, oddly enough.
Matt,
What's up?
just curious, why keep the PS4 when you know it has the C bomb?
The C bomb. Oh man, I remember that.
Or did they fix that? I think they said they were working on fixing it. I don't know if they actually fixed it.
The last I heard is that there was gonna be a patch for it, but we're talking about the internal battery that's gonna give out, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And then you can't even connect it to the PS network services.
and then therein lies another problem. It's like these games that require you to update them via the online service. You know, I think like starting with the PS4 and Xbox One generation, where literally now, like Nonchalant mentioned earlier, we're really just getting the codes on the disc. There's really no game data on the disc anymore. It's simply a way for us to tell their online store that hey, we have the disc, so give us the digital version. So I think like is it weird to say that PS4 and after PS4 and Xbox One, it's kind of becoming meaningless to hold on to these older consoles?
I'm buying all my games digitally on PS5 because I know that they'll be supported forward.
Right.
Like I feel like from this generation forward, it's pretty much a lock that every game will be supported going forward, which is good for preservation digitally, of course. Like I don't see Microsoft ever saying that your Xbox One games aren't going to be forward compatible anymore. That'd be pointless, you know. I think that's a lock. Maybe one day you won't be able to buy an Xbox 360 game on the Xbox store, but like you at least should be able to keep it digitally forward, you know.
Do you think?
But that's what like PC is, you know, for Steam. You keep all your games forever on Steam.
What do you though? Like if you really think about it though, like down the line.
Well, that's if Steam ran out of business. If Steam ran out of business, I think someone would have to buy the rights to those games licenses, and then you'd probably still be able to keep them. Like let's say Epic bought out Steam, and you would probably just transfer your library over to Epic.
To Epic,
I think
right?
you'll keep those games. Yeah.
So what about games like Battleborn? Games like Destiny that rely like on an always online kind of service. Are those?
Well,
it's probably like a really different.
It's already happening with Destiny. Destiny 2. Like the Forsaken DLC, I paid for that, right? It's gone as of next week. Gone for good.
Because
never to be seen again.
Because we're getting another one, right? We're getting like another DLC for Destiny.
Yeah, so I question like why this is totally off topic, but like we can end this conversation pretty fast. But like, why not just make it a subscription then instead of charging people for DLC and then taking the expansions that you paid for?
Right.
Why not be World of Warcraft at that point? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, but to your point though, Destiny 2 will turn off its servers one day permanently, and that game will be useless.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I think Anthem. I don't know. Anthem you could still play online, but that's gonna be shut down pretty soon. Battleborn was like a personal. Anthem's gone. Is Anthem gone now?
If it shut off Anthem, I don't think anyone would really care.
Yeah, I hear you.
I really don't think anyone would care.
I hear you because as time goes on and like the popularity for a game disappears, but we could say like if we look back at games from the Nintendo era, a lot of people didn't like these lesser known games, but they're still like, okay, let's say the LJN games that nobody likes, right?
What about that horror game on GameCube that was licensed by Nintendo? You know what I'm talking about?
Eternal Darkness or Geist?
Yes, I think it was Eternal Darkness.
I love that game,
dude. No one cared about that back then.
Dude.
No one cared about that back then, and now it's worth a ton. It's worth like a fortune.
Exactly my point. I loved it, by the way, but I hear what you're saying. The popularity of it was not sustainable, but and I think this is where we can kind of talk about game preservation. Just because it wasn't popular doesn't mean some of us don't want to go back to it and play it. And people who bought that LJN game back in 1989 for their Nintendo, they didn't want their copy to become useless just because it wasn't popular or the game sucked or anything. It's the wanting to know you own it forever kind of thing, and that's why I'm a huge fan of the physical media. But like you said, digital games may not disappear completely, but there's always certain issues that pop up, like whether a game has like a game that's, or like a music that's licensed by a certain entity. I mean, like we're finally gonna see GoldenEye remastered this year, right? But for the longest time, GoldenEye.
I mean, you can't buy what you just said, Matt, is like, I just remembered, you can't buy Forza anymore after a couple years because of the licenses and the music and the cars.
Yeah, like the licenses that back up like the music, right?
They all expire, so they can't sell the game anymore, which is crazy to think about. One day we're not going to be able to buy Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And you know how good that game is.
And so, and when I hear stuff like that, I just want a guarantee that like this is a 3DS game that's on the it was a GameStop exclusive. People don't like this game. You're never gonna see it remade ever again because it makes use of the 3D elements of the 3DS. It's called Crush 3D. It's
and the only copy of it is in your hands right now. The last copy.
Imagine, yeah. But it's stuff like that. Imagine where like
you get a phone call. You get a phone call from the museum asking for it.
I know, right? Yeah, and it's like there's something, maybe because I'm very old school. There's something special about having a tangible, physical item where like I'm never gonna have to ever worry about playing this game ever again. I actually enjoyed it. It's actually pretty fun. Because I'm always gonna have it. It's here with me. Pop it into my 3DS. I'm ready to go, unless something really bad happens to like the little metal pins. But I guess it's the.
But Matt,
what's up?
We have to discuss this though.
Yeah.
The only perfect preservation is emulation, and I thought about that rhyming, and I was just like, I'm gonna say it anyways. The only perfect preservation is emulation.
Oh no!
Because the 3DS batteries will go bad one day, and Who knows how long we'll be able to keep our old consoles? They're gonna die off someday, become e-waste.
The batteries,
But emulation never will.
so the battery dying in my 3DS isn't gonna really mean anything unless, I can't keep time on my 3DS anymore, right?
Well, you should take you should take the lithium battery. You should take it out, but you're gonna keep it.
Oh yeah, so that it
Like, in
doesn't
good
melt.
condition. Or expand.
Oh yeah, I had to do that with my SP. I had to take the battery out.
Yeah, that happened. That was one of the biggest things that used to happen to old Apple devices, iPad Nanos, and the batteries used to expand and break the console. Not the console, the iPod, whatever. That's why, you should take, if you're gonna try to if you have an expensive 3DS, to keep the battery out of it just in case, and then use it every once in a while to make sure that it stays in good condition too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. I have an NES from back in 1992 that still works. And I have, but I know with as time goes on, technology is getting a lot more complex. So maybe the longevity of these systems won't be as good as the old consoles, right? Because there's a lot more going into making these systems. So I definitely know what you mean, that when you say that emulation is the only, or not the only, but the best way. Perfect preservation, yeah. But yeah,
because
man.
think about it this way. What if one day someone makes an emulator machine that's like a perfect replica of the 3DS, and you can load ROMs onto it? See what I mean? That would be perfect emulation of a 3DS through Citra, of course. But
yeah,
that would be perfect. Like you know what I mean? So that way you keep the spirit of the 3DS alive. When Nintendo freaking abandons it and puts it in a museum.
let me ask you, Killer Cam, because I know you're a younger guy, but you are crazy smart, man. I've never talked to someone your age that knows as much about gaming as what you've. When you come on the stream, man, I like to listen because I learn a lot from you, and I'm sure viewers here feel the same. But let me ask you though something, man. Do you feel the same? This is not a trick question. This is a legit question because I would like to know how you feel about it. You're a fan of Pokemon, right? Like, do you play Pokemon, or were you a fan of it back in the day when it came out on the Game Boy? Or
I had it on the original DS. I don't know why, but my parents never bought it for me on a Game Boy.
Okay.
I had a Game Boy Advance. No, I had the Game Boy Pocket for my first Game Boy.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, I barely remember it, but I remember it being silver and everything was black and white.
Yeah, the black and white days, man. But let me ask, what was your favorite game on the Game Boy Pocket, or did you play on it a lot, or?
Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tetris. So the only two games that I had.
Mario Brothers Deluxe, definitely, man. That was a fun one, and it was a clear case, right? Because it was only. Oh no, I would think
and you can unlock the lost levels. I think I did it by accident, and I was like, "Why the hell is this so hard?"
Yeah.
You know, talking about the Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, the lost levels. That was on the. Yeah, I do remember that, man. Lord XRZ says we will probably die before the batteries in consoles. However, things are going all digital, then console really becomes obsolete in the end. But my question, where I was going with this, is, would you be okay playing an emulated version of Mario Brothers Deluxe on your PC rather than on your Game Boy? I'm holding my phone for some reason. It's the shape of a Game Boy, but
not on my PC, but on my iPhone, yeah.
Okay.
If it was on my smartphone, because it's the form factor. It's the perfect form factor for it.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Physical buttons.
Yeah. If it had the
haptic buttons are not bad, actually. They're not great, but they're not bad either. like haptic
Yeah.
feedback.
Oh, the iPhone has haptic feedback? What the hell?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know that.
If you press down on stuff, you can feel it. It's
Holy
weird.
crap. It's like the DualSense. Ducky says Super Mario All-Stars. That was another good game too. But no, Killer Cam, thank you so much for coming on, dude. This was a really good discussion, man, about Nintendo's announcement. And it's happening. The change is happening a lot sooner rather than later. So that's actually something I just learned today. Thanks, Killer Cam, for bringing it to my attention, man. This is kind of crazy, kind of nuts.
And one other thing I just thought about.
What's up?
One more thing. You know what you probably, what is it called? That new device that plays cartridges like legitimately, not ROMs.
The Retron? The Retron 5 or something?
It's a pocket device.
A pocket device. Oh,
I can't remember what it's. I pre-ordered. I'm so dumb. I freaking pre-ordered it. I can't remember. That must have been the car wreck. My head's still not perfect.
Is it the analog pocket? That's not it, is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! It is.
I said pocket too. See, it was coming to me. It was coming to me.
Holy crap! I didn't know
But
that.
They could make a 3DS one day. You see what I'm saying? And then you could pop in legitimate cartridges in that thing.
Damn! Wait, how much is this thing, man?
You know, it's kind of expensive. I don't know if I'm keeping my pre-order. By the time it comes out, things may change by then.
Yeah, I didn't know
I don't have that many. I don't have that many cartridge games that will run on it. I still have Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, and that's pretty much it. Man, I spend all that money just to play Super Mario Brothers Deluxe on a good screen.
I didn't know it played physical games. Man, that's crazy. It even uses you can even use a link cable on it. Oh, you can dock it.
Yeah, it's serious hardware. Like, if these people are making this, I have faith that they can make a 3DS clone in the future when it becomes cheaper to have that 3DS screen.
Yeah, you can dock this thing and play it on your screen. What the hell?
Yeah. And dude, if you can do that, like right now, if they make a 3DS version of it or a DS and 3DS version of it, then you could be able to dock that too and then play 3DS games on your HD television. And that sounds good to me.
I'm looking at a screen here that has Belmont's Revenge that was on the Game Boy. Docked, inserted into this thing.
Let me guess, you want this now.
I do. I'm a preservationalist. That's what I am. Oh man, that's crazy.
I kind of bought into the hype because I love the way the aesthetic is. I love the aesthetic of the device. That's really what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a kill. Like, I really like the way it looks. It's a good looking device, and I like the idea behind it. It's just like, I don't know if I should put money on it. Probably not.
And analog pocket. I'm gonna go sell my PS5 to get it. Wonder how many people watching were like,
but
you
yeah, playing
fool.
Pokemon on that is probably like the best experience you can have playing classic Pokemon.
I mean, you can use
the form factor is like OG.
Yeah, exactly. You can use a link cable, so it's like that's I don't like Pokemon on emulators because I could never really trade with anybody, and then there was like glitches and stuff. But this one you can link them together. This is actually really cool. You know, I'm glad that there are companies out there that are taking game preservation like seriously. You know, because eventually,
would it really kill Nintendo to make something like that?
No, it wouldn't.
Like a small amount. Like not even like a huge amount. Like I get it. I get preservation's a niche thing. Like not everyone is like us, of course.
Yeah.
Like not everyone cares about old games. We get it, Nintendo. But like that's your history. At least make something like that. And then, instead, they said they'll just make us a stupid game and watch. Yeah, I have one. I'm not complaining that much. I have one.
I wanted to
have the Mario one.
I wanted to get that Legend of Zelda one, but then I was like $50. That's like a game for the Switch. You know what I mean? And
yeah, make a freaking Game Boy Classic, Nintendo. Damn, is it really that hard?
Man, I really
is it really that, like, seriously.
Well, I mean, if the shortage is from the NES Classic or any sign, apparently it is for some reason. I don't know what the hell's so difficult about it.
They were basically running on a Raspberry Pi, though. Like that's
true.
The cheapest computer you could possibly buy, and that's what they were using. I mean, I have one. I like how I'm slandering this stuff, but I'm like, I also own it, so I'm technically.
It was just a Raspberry Pi, but I have one.
I still bought it.
Hey, but we still appreciate it for what it is. But it is, though, like you said. I mean, I honestly still think that shortage was faked, man. But maybe it's just me being a conspiracy theorist.
Well, I think with the NES, I honestly think that Nintendo was like, no one's gonna want this because we can tell that's how they think about old games. Is they think no one wants them.
That's crazy. We're still
so
alive,
Nintendo. Why they made so few of them.
Your fans from back in the day are still alive, for the love of God. I mean, look at me. I'm 90 years old and I still want to play them. Come on, man.
And so, you know that Shigeru Miyamoto is known for his quotes, right?
Yes, I do.
He literally said in an interview one time, "What? People want to play old games? Why?"
he also said Navi in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was a mistake.
And he also wanted Mario to be an adult, mature character. Like he's supposed to be a badass or something. Because he didn't like that Mario like gave the peace sign.
So so that's the real reason Chris Pratt is voicing Mario, huh? Shigeru Miyamoto was like, yeah, this is what I wanted all along. I wanted Chris Pratt. Ow, I hit my hand. But we still own the games, you know, because we understand how cool they are. Oh, man. No, man, but thanks for this impromptu discussion, Killer Cam. You want to say anything before we start winding down the stream tonight, man?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head to bed soon. I hope everyone has a good one, and make sure to buy up the 3DS games if you haven't yet. If you're interested in, of course, I mean, or if you think one day you might be interested in a certain game, you might as well get it now before the prices will go up. They will. It doesn't feel like it yet. Like the prices are still good right now, but they will. Once like the GameStop stock is all run dry, that's it. And GameStop, I'm surprised they didn't like add a $10 surcharge on every single 3DS game this week, even used. I'm surprised that they still hold the same prices. Also, one last thing.
What's up?
Go buy Pokemon X right now at GameStop used. It comes loose, but it's only $20. That's a good investment.
That is.
It's a really good investment. Loose even. Because literally Soul Silver, I know we're not talking about the same game, but Soul Silver right now loose is over $100.
Oh, yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
So imagine what X is going to be like, and it's only $20 right now on GameStop used. So
fudge.
I can pick that one up.
Yeah, I that's a good idea, man. I just realized I sold X 2 years ago. I don't have it anymore. That sucks. But I'll get it for $20 though, and I have a coupon.
There you go. Use those GameStop coupons.
Killer Camp, thank you so much, dude. I hope you have an awesome night, bro. Thanks for making the time to come on. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, Matt. It's always a pleasure.
Stay safe. Stay awesome. You're cool. Until we see you next time. Yeah.